welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions, brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Carrie.
What's up?
All right, guys. This is we're doing it a little unconventional this time. It's a remote review, but we are reviewing Cats. Carrie had the luxury, I assume, of seeing the 2019 live-action movie version of the very famous play, Cats, originally created by Andrew Lloyd Webber. This one has a pretty ensemble cast. James Corden, Judi Dench, Jason Derulo, that's weird, Idris Elba, Jennifer Hudson, Ian McKellen, Taylor Swift, Rebel Wilson, Francesca Hayward, and a whole bunch of other people. Let me read the log line of this movie because I've never seen Cats before.
Sure.
Over the course of a single night, a tribe of cats called the Jellicles make what is known as the Jellicle choice and decide which cat will ascend to the Heaviside Layer and come back to a new life. I don't know what any of that means, Carrie. If you could explain that for normal people.
Sure. So it's important to, in order to understand Cats the movie, you kind of have to understand Cats the stage show. And so it goes back to Andrew Lloyd Webber doing a lot of cocaine in the early 1980s and deciding that he's going to do basically what he wanted to do almost as an exercise is try and put music to pre-existing lyrics, which he hadn't done before. And he decided to use an old T.S. Eliot book of poems called Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats as the basis for that.
Okay.
And so he gets going, and he discovers an old poem that was originally supposed to be in the book, and it's about a sad cat. And they decided to take that out of the book because it was deemed too sad for children.
Wow. Wait, this is supposed to be for kids?
Well, I mean, the book of poems was supposed to be for kids.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
So he decides to sort of run with it, and he creates Cats. It debuts in 1981. And runs for 30 solid years on Broadway.
Yeah. People love it.
Yeah, it's very strange. Basically, Cats is about the Jellicle cats, and once a year they meet under the Jellicle moon in order to make the Jellicle choice. And the leader of the Jellicles is known as Old Deuteronomy, and it is Old Deuteronomy's decision as to who gets to ascend to the Heaviside Layer, which means that they're reborn into a new life. And so Cats is a bunch of cats either introducing themselves or sort of trying to make their case as to why they should be the one reborn.
Okay.
And that's basically it. It's basically a reaping ceremony. It's
weird.
Very strange. But it works. For whatever reason, it works. So, yeah.
The question is, does the movie in and of itself work?
Yeah, I would say the movie in and of itself works. For better or for worse. If you do not already like Cats, you're not going to like this. It's not going to convince you.
Right, this isn't going to break me into the phenomenon that is Cats.
Right. I don't really know how to explain it because it's Cats as a musical is super polarizing. Cats is love it or hate it. You're either all in on these adult human people dressed in cat costumes, singing and dancing for 2.5 hours, or you're not. There's no in between. You're either all in or you're not.
Take a guess where I am.
I've generally been in, because in the late 90s they did a filmed version of the stage show that had all sorts of different camera angles and whatnot. It was a professional production, and they put that out on a VHS tape, and I watched it a lot, and I got really into the music. The issue with Cats the movie is that it's missing what makes the musical as a stage production successful. And it's missing what people like about the stage show. Because what people remember about Cats, the stage show, is the music, of course, but also some really intense choreography and also like the look of the performers, because they have these sort of lycra bodysuits on with arm warmers and leg warmers, and their hair is sort of done, I guess you would call it like Wolverine style.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're out there like with actual cat ears on. Like they have just wigs and whatnot styled to make them look fluffy and styled upwards and whatnot. And
very, very Zoobly Zoo-esque, if you will.
I don't think it's quite that intense.
Yes, it is.
No. I think that's doing a disservice.
Sad.
But I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head for the next week.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thank Ben Vereen for that.
But the problem with the movie is that like, okay, cool, we've got new versions of the music, and that's great, but like we're missing the choreography. And most importantly, we're missing the look, because they decided to go full mocap with it.
Right. Which was pretty controversial, from my understanding. It looked off-putting to me. Yeah, the trailers look much worse than the final product. I will give them that much. They certainly improved on the initial trailers that released. Mm-hmm. So it's not super severe Uncanny Valley. Okay, well that's good. But it definitely doesn't look good. My husband, bless him, actually decided to go to the screener with me. Good Lord.
He noticed that a lot of the performers' feet were like sort of clipping through the floor at certain points. Wow. Because like in a video game sort of shit. Right. So yeah, there's a lot of clipping going on apparently. For what it's worth, I didn't really notice that. I also wasn't really looking for it. I was just sort of enjoying the music. The music is quite good. I thought, and it's new versions of those classic songs. Yes. Yes. Okay. I thought the new version of "Memory," which is the musical's most favorite song by Jennifer Hudson, super powerful. Maybe one of the best versions of that song. I would probably put it top 5 because that song's been recorded dozens of times over the years. Yeah, and she can sing her ass off, so... Yeah, she absolutely can. I mean, there were some good dance moments, too. It helps that they got a lot of folks with extensive dance backgrounds. Stephen McRae, who is Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat. He's... sure. That's the only person... He's the only person I could see really playing that role. He's a principal dancer with the London Royal Ballet. Oh, okay, that makes sense. He's super good. He gets a really good extended dance sequence that was probably the best dance sequence in the film. But yeah, it's just like as a fan of Cats the musical, I don't like the changes that they made. They make Victoria, who's portrayed by Francesca Hayward, who I believe is a ballet dancer. Yeah, she's also a principal dancer at the Royal Ballet in London. They make her sort of like the main character in this. They make her sort of the audience. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Allegory, and I didn't love it. I didn't love the fact that they cut a number of the songs or shortened a number of the songs. I don't love that they added spoken dialogue. Oh, is the entire thing Cats sung? Cats is sung through. Cats is a sung through musical, so they added spoken dialogue to like further explain some of the stuff that was going on. Idris Elba as Macavity. Macavity in the stage show is almost like a bit role. Like Macavity is played by someone who is usually in the chorus as well, and does a costume change off stage before appearing as Macavity, and Idris Elba sort of like shows up throughout rather than just appearing at the end of the story. And the way that they explain it is Macavity is this terrible criminal cat who is sort of spiriting away the other cats who want to be chosen to ascend to the Heaviside Layer so that he will be the only one left, and therefore he will be the one chosen. And it's fine. I didn't mind that so much. Idris Elba is probably the worst looking of like the cat people. He looks...
Which is just wildly ironic.
Right, because, like, Idris Elba's a very handsome man, and he looks just like a bad, fuzzy Ken doll, and it's awful.
Good. For the first time in his life, he gets to be just ugly. Good.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, it's just
That's
like...
hilarious.
I don't really know what else to say about Cats. It's just like... It's definitely Cats. If you don't already like Cats, you're definitely not going to like it now. If you don't already like musical theater, this isn't going to get you to like musical theater.
Right. And that was kind of the impression I got, that this was, they were kind of, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. They had an audience, they were preaching to a choir, and they were just going for that audience. They weren't trying to break anybody in, which, is a perfectly respectable thing to do.
Right. I guess, like, for me, it goes back to, like, when Cats the Musical is already as polarizing as it is, why would you get rid of, like, 2 of the 3 things that the people who like it like about it?
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where it's like the movie ended and I was like, I guess I didn't hate that. Okay.
It's about as good as you can get.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words on Cats?
Taylor Swift is only in the movie for like 7 minutes, so if you were expecting to see a lot of her based on the trailers, don't get your hopes up.
Oh, no, not a lot of Tay Sway in this one?
Not a lot of Tay Sway in this.
Good. All right. I think that's it for what I can only describe as a movie I'll never see.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think I'd probably give it, like, if you are into musical theater, I'd probably give it, like, a 2 out of 5.
Oof.
If you're not into musical theater,
yikes,
probably going to give it, like, a 1.5 out of 5. Because it's not abject garbage, but it's definitely not good.
All right. Well, there you go. Somewhere between a 1.5 to a 2.5.
I didn't hate it.
She didn't hate it. There you go. There's your stamp of approval. All right, guys. That is it for this review for Cats. We will see you guys next time.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.